It's time to take 10 minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.
Welcome to the discussion of Pesach. Thanks for the ups and downs. If we look at the story of going out of Egypt, there are two parts of the story. One part is Avadim Hayinu L'Farav Mitzrayim. We were slaves in Egypt. The second part is that God took us out of there with a great hand. So the question is, are both parts of the story the story? Is the story simply that God took us out of Egypt? Right? If I had to sum up all of Pesach, all the Exodus in one word, I would say Exodus. Yetzias Mitzrayim, one phrase. We went out of Egypt. Or no, is somehow the fact that we were slaves in Egypt, is that part of the story? Sfas Emes says that when we commemorate the Exodus from Egypt, we commemorate not only the Exodus, but also the slavery. When we celebrate, when we say that we have to give thanks to God, what are we thanking Him for? Not just for the geula, for the redemption, but also for the golus, for the exile itself. For instance, we say that since God took us out of all these different places, out of all these situations, we were in darkness, we were in slavery. All of that, that's all part of what we're thankful for. We're not just thankful for the redemption itself, but also for all the different parts of it. Well, if we look here in the Haggadah, for instance, it says that therefore we must give praise to God. Many languages of praise of God. For whom? For the one who did all these miracles, and He took us out from Avdus l'Cherus, from slavery to freedom. Miagon, from sadness, anguish, to Simcha, to joy. Avel, to Yom Tov. Mourning, to rejoicing. Afela, darkness, to Or Gadol, to a great light. Shibud, ligula, from subjugation to redemption. So, why do we mention all these languages? Why don't we say that He took us out to Cherus, to Simcha, to Yom Tov, to Or Gadol, to Geula? No, we always say we talk about how do we get to where we are? We got there from being in the opposite situation. So that, says this Sfas Emes, that's part of what we're thanking God for. And that explains why the basic formula for the Haggadah is Maschil Bignus U'Misayim B'Shvach. You have to start with something that's derogatory, makes us sound kind of bad, or maybe that's sad or unfortunate, and you have to end with something that gives great praise to God, or something that's positive. So that explains why. Look in the Haggadah, you'll see we start off Arami Oved Avi, that Laban was trying to kill everybody. We start off Avadim Hayinu, we used to be slaves. We start off Mitchil Avdo Oved Azariah. We start off the story by saying that we used to worship idols, a terrible thing. We used to worship idols. Now we're close to God. Everything must be seen in the backdrop, right? You walk outside and it's a nice day. Okay, fine. But yesterday it was really cloudy. That's why it's a nice day. That's why you appreciate the nice day, right? You live in a beautiful home and everything's going great. I didn't used to. I was studying for finals and I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. Now I have the Or Gadol. The part of the story of redemption is the story how you almost weren't redeemed. The story of where you came from. Rav Mital always said that when it comes to redemption, there are ups and downs. That's part of the redemption process. So you go up and you go down. Many of us feel like right now we're in a down part of our redemption, that if indeed we're in the throes of a great redemption of the Jewish people, right now we're in the downside. There's war, there's conflict, there's criticism. It's in the down part. But Rav Mital believed that we're in a trajectory toward great things. We say in the Hallel, Even Masu Abanim Hayta Rosh Binah, that which you thought was so bad, turned out that was the cornerstone. That's what you built on. You had something terrible happen, and then it's from there that some great things happen later on. We say in the Psalm 30, we say every morning, Mizmor Shir Chanukos Habayis LaDavid, the Psalm of the dedication of the temple, La'erev Yolim Bechi Labokerina. At night you You weep, in the morning there's joy. There isn't only joy because there's joy in the morning, something good happened in the morning. No. In contrast to all the sadness of the night, when something good happens in the morning, you realize that difference between the sadness and the joy, and that itself makes you more glad than you ever were. You go to a wedding, and you were with this person. They had this shidduch and that shidduch, and then they were going out with this one, and they were going out with that one, and then it didn't work out, and they were really hoping for this, and then they broke the engagement, and all kinds of things happened. And then you get to the wedding where they finally decide they're marrying this person, they're getting married, and you're particularly joyful. Why? Because you remember all the hardships. Someone pointed out that wine, we drink a lot of wine on the Seder. Yayin is the same gematria as the word sod, as secret. Because sometimes when you drink too much, some of the secrets come out. Who you really are sometimes comes out. Sometimes you spill secrets, tell secrets that you shouldn't tell. And what's wine? Wine is made by a wine press. People stomp on the grapes, or you have mechanical things that stomp on the grapes. If you would ask the grapes in the middle of the process, how are we doing so far? Come on, everybody, how are we doing? It says, it's terrible. We're getting clobbered. This guy's stepping on us every single second. It's terrible. Then if you ask the wine later on, when it turns into wine, how are we doing now? So it's great. I'm selling for $40 a bottle. We're doing terrific. So what happens in the process of making wine? You have to go through difficult times. You have to go through the dorech begas, where you're tramping and stomping on the grapes. In order to get to wine, you have to get to a lot of important things in life. You have to go through trials, travails, great difficulties. And that explains why in the Hallel itself, many people have pointed out, Not the Greenblatt, my son Asher, pointed out that when it comes to the Hallel is not just, whoa, hallelujah, let's go, go God. Hallel is about, let's say Yisrael Mitzrayim, we were going out of Egypt. Hallel is Kol Goyim Svavuni, everyone, all the nations, they surrounded me. Hallel is Meitzar Karasi Ka, Anani B'Merchav Ka. I called out to God from the depths, right? There are other verses that speak in the Hallel of the notion that things were difficult, times were difficult, and it's then Yeshua. Then God answered me, and He became my salvation. That's the Hallel. There's even in the middle of Hallel we say Ana Hashem Hoshiana. We still have problems, even though we're thankful for whatever we're thankful for, the Exodus, the splitting of the sea, but we're also prayerful. We're also not there yet when it comes to so many things in our lives or in our national lives. So we say, Ana Hashem Hoshiana, God, please save us. God, please Hatzlichana, help us be successful. Because we're not there yet. There's still things to be prayerful about. So even the Hallel, when we're giving thanks to God, acknowledges that there are things that still are not finished, and acknowledges that there were times before this when things were very difficult, and we called out to God and He heard us, and that's part of the story. So if we ask, what is Pesach all about? It's not just about that we went out of Egypt. It's about that we were slaves, and it was terrible. And then we went out of Egypt, and that is something to celebrate. It's the contrast between the bad and the good, the past and the future. That's what makes the Seder so amazing. That's why we start off the Seder and we say that Hashata Hacha L'Shana Haba B'Ardi Yisrael. We may be here now, but that's the beginning of the story. The end of the story is next year we'll be in Jerusalem. That's our hope. That's our dream. Thank you for joining us, and wish everyone a Chag Kosher V'Samecha, a healthy and a happy and a kosher Pesach to one and all. We want to thank Jason Lefkowitz, our producer, and we want to thank our anonymous donor who sponsored in honor of Avas Torah and the love of Torah. We thank them as well. Thank you.
This has been 10 Minutes for Torah with Rabbi Joel Finkelstein.